Okay.
Is there something I might assist you with?
Hawk City Cliff, a location in a southern part of the Imperial Province of Rosaria known for its distinctive rock formations. There are myriad theories as to how the unique satisfaction was achieved, from natural shiftings of the earth to clashes of bygone icons to who lost fallen magics. The people who live in their shadows, however, such as those residents of the tiny village of Ember, will merely tell you a rock is a rock. The viceregency, Annabella's tyranny. The imperial province incorporating the lands that were once Rosaria, ruled over by Annabella, former Duchess of Rosaria. One of her first acts as vicereine was to institute a new order of knights, the Black Shields, who were dispatched to every corner of the province to maintain order. They would later come to serve as a personal army, settling her grievances against sparers and ducal loyalists. Ih, perdi um. Cadê? Tá aqui. Amber, a sleepy settlement nestled amongst the lofty peaks of southern Rosaria. Located far from the capital, its people survive by trading what produce they can coax from the stony soil and what little else they can gather from the surrounding hills.
The door to the shell.
The Hodel docks, once home of the Duchy's finest shipwrights, the docks now lie abandoned. The men and women who once worked them all victims to the Viceroy's cruel heart. Port is old. Few are the days when the air about the city's piers is not alive with the barks of dusty stevedores loading and unloading vessels hiding from all corners of the realm and beyond. I forgot to see something. Agora não me lembro. Quanto money é que eu tenho? Onde é que eu vejo a quantidade de dinheiro que eu tenho? Não tenho dinheiro, sou pobre. Ah, tá ali, 20 mil. Era para aí 25 mil, coisa que eu queria e tudo isso. Ah? Como assim?
Acabei de instalar uma cena e ela não está aqui.
Uma aplicação? Deixa eu ver. Let me see that. Depois está aí, não vejo. Qual é a aplicação? Instalada. Ainda está instalada. Mas isto não tem letra disso, isso aqui. Também não tem quase nenhum, só 49 críticas cada mesa disso.
10 mil?
Não 10 mil pessoas que desferiram, mas críticas. Mas isso é o quê?
É de roupa. Não, é de roupa, é tipo a Amazon portuguesa. Uma cena nova. Normalmente ontem eu fui buscar as fotos, ela perguntou: é da book ou da vida?
Que é a Bloop. Mas a Vinted não é portuguesa. Ah, não, não é, pois não.
Good girl. Run like the wind. Be safe.
Something to 40.
This is nothing like I remember it.
How quickly a crown can lose its luster.
Not abandoned then.
Oi! Visitors!
Apologies. We'll show ourselves out.
Quick touch.
Or not.
I've only ever seen one man fight like that. And he's long dead.
Then perhaps it's time you joined him.
The blessing of the Phoenix. It can't be. I was there when you died. Forgive me, my lord. I knew not whom I addressed. You have naught to fear from us. Founder, it really is you.
It is. So wait.
We can speak inside.
And those who wouldn't bend the knee?
We left before the Empire could make examples of us, though we didn't go far. And we banded together to form the Guardians of the Flame soon after. Alas, there is only so much a handful of aging shields can do against the might of an empire. But we've seen to it that their stay has been anything but pleasant. Of late, though, we've had our hands full just trying to keep the Duchy's few remaining bearers out of the Imperial's clutches.
The Cullings. We saw what happened in Old Hill.
Aye, the foul work of the Black Shields and their mistress.
You mean my mother? But it doesn't make sense. Even knowing what I know about her. Her hatred for bearers was no secret, but she wouldn't have been ignorant of their value to the realm.
No offense, my lord, but in case you haven't noticed, the Lady Annabella couldn't care less about the realm. She barely even cares for her own home. That much has been plain since the slaughter at Eastpool. And, since granting the Holy Emperor a new heir, her obsession with bearers only seems to have grown. As to why, I don't know. Maybe she can't bear the thought of anyone having the power to challenge her beloved son.
Her son.
Sir Wade, the Black Shields have broken camp. They march in full force for Buick Bridge.
Then so do we. Make ready. This is their main host. If we remove the head, perhaps we can prevent what happened at the docks from happening somewhere else. If I do nothing, then the blood of their next victims will be on my hands.
Yours and ours. We too have witnessed the crimes these men who dare call themselves Shield have committed in my mother's name. It cannot be allowed to continue. We must put a stop to this madness.
We must. So let us go with you. For the good of Rosaria.
I was hoping you'd say that. Very well. If that is your wish, I would be honored to serve at your side.
And we at yours.
So Wade, let us do our duty.
With pleasure, my lord.
I imagine this endeavor will require more than just our wits.
Then let's hope Sir Wade has a good quartermaster.
I suppose we owe you our thanks. You spared us when you could have just as easily sent us to the mud.
We'll fuck up, man. Please, you're not dead.
What is it you require? Of course, my lord. Such goods cannot simply be given away, as I'm sure you are aware. It has been an honor.
Tell us then, Sir Wade. What is your plan?
Nothing fancy. You, Lady Jill and I make for Buick Bridge, and provoke the main host at their encampment. Sensing an opportunity to end the Guardians, the Black Shields will call for reinforcements, who will be met from the rear by parties of my brothers hidden throughout the surrounding hills. This will allow us to wage battle on the bridge without fear of being overwhelmed. While the Black Shields have an advantage in numbers, you see, they prefer to fight in small units, which we can use to our advantage.
How small exactly?
Small enough, now that I have you and Lady Jill for company. I doubt I could have done this on my own.
But until we arrived, that was your plan. You haven't changed a bit.
So Wade, the bearers from Old Hill have been laid to rest.
Very good. Now make ready for battle.
As you command.
Thank you, Sir Wade. Perhaps now they will find peace.
There is but one thing which will grant them peace. Putting an end to the Black Shields.
And so we shall.
The fix. Black or white, the Black Shield's main host is on a march and Sir Wade's Guardians of the Flame plan to make a final stand with or without Clive and Jill's help.
We'll keep them from the...
May the blessing of the Phoenix go with you.
How long have you been pursuing the Black Shields?
Since they burned their first village, we tracked down the bastards responsible and fed their corpses to Stillwind. Suffice to say, that got their attention. It's been a game of cat and mouse ever since.
Look at me sideways.
Come along now.
The bastards are lucky.
There they are. On your command, my lord.
What is it now? I told you!
We bear a message for the Vicereine. From the Guardians of the Flame.
Ha! You presume to tell us that a pair of filthy vagabonds, a woman and a dog, could guard aught against the might of the Black Shields? Then come!
Gross.
Die along with your flame!
Okay,
Forest area!
Forest area!
Your petty revolution ends here. On these our swords we swear.
Bloody hell! Reinforcements from the far bank!
Another wyvern to fight that battle for them.
Meu Deus, onde é que eu tô? A worthy opponent, perhaps.
More dragons.
Worse. The Imperials aren't taking any chances. I can't say I'm flattered.
A noble stand, albeit a misguided one. In taking it, you have but proven our point. That this land is in dire need of cleansing.
Oh, you're not even a boss fight, man.
Sir Wade!
Found! There's no one left to keep them occupied. We need to finish this.
You ain't finish him.
Let's try.
Oh. Enemy slain. Of course, it was easy. No.
I don't see any more.
Nor do I. The plan worked.
It did. It bloody worked. We sent every last one of the rotten bastards straight to the mud! Lord, perhaps this will be enough to stop the Cullings. For the time being, at least.
Perhaps. Though I doubt my mother will take this loss well. She'll move swiftly to see her minions' ranks replenished.
And then it will all begin again. I often wonder if the nation we once knew is gone for good. Her fields rot. Her people starve. We battled to preserve the flame that was, but for every foe we fell, another springs up in its place. Yet be that as it may, it is still our home, and we must fight for it. As we always have, and always will. For as long as the Firebird's flame burns in our hearts, the Duchy cannot die. And her loyal subjects may dream of a day when the Rosarian standard flies over Rosalith once more.
So wait,
Think we should fall back to Port Isolde before the garrison sends reinforcements? A sound strategy, my lord.
Quest complete.
And how long has my uncle been funding you and your comrades' endeavors?
Since the beginning. Lord Byron was the first person I turned to after forming the Guardians. And had I known of this tunnel back then, I wouldn't almost have been hanged by the city guard for trying to sneak over the wall.
I suppose a formal request for an audience would have appeared suspicious.
And appearances must be maintained. Were the Vice-Regency to catch wind of Lord Byron's involvement in our movement, they'd seize his estate and send him to the gallows, where he would be of no use to anyone. And so, though it sickens him to the soul, he plays the part of the loyal lord, knowing that one wrong move might prove his downfall. It is why he remains ever vigilant. Don't be surprised if he refuses you an audience, especially since you're famously dead.
Then I will have to think of a way to prove that I am neither wraith nor wrongdoer.
I might have something which could help with the latter. It's the mark of the Guardians. Display it, and those who love Rosaria will know where your loyalties lie.
We accepted the burnt blade from Wade.
I shall wear it with pride.
Be sure that you do. I don't want my men attacking you again. Unless you deserve it. If only Sir Tyler could have been here to see you. Or the Lord Commander.
Thank you, Sir Wade. If there is ever anything you need.
I know. Go on now, my lord.
Port Isolde, the Imperial Province of Rosaria. Rossfield Manor.
How accommodating. Do you really think they believe we are who we say we are?
Not a chance. Right, I guess. My uncle believes we're imposters here to rob him. And means to string us up himself.
Imagine my surprise when I was told my nephew had come to visit. Clive Rosefield died long ago. And for uttering his name here, you shall pay with your tongue! You would mock me as well?
It is I, Sir Crandall of Camelot, loyal servant to Her Serene Holiness, Saint Sybil the Unshod. Meadow, thou vile sorcerer, for thy crimes against church and crown, I shall have thy head.
Curse thee, infectious flax wench. Even in death, must thou plague me still? Very well. I shall open the gates of hell, that thou might see thy charge once more.
Bravo, Uncle. You're still the finest Maddo in the twins.
Oh, Clive, my dear boy, it's really you. You always were fond of that scene from The Saint in the Sanctuary. Never did let me play Sir Crandall.
I have a favor to ask, Uncle Byron.
Rutherford, inform the kitchens. There'll be guests. We dine immediately.
But, Uncle...
You can't very well regale me with the tale of your miraculous preservation on an empty stomach. Go on, sit. See that you use the good plates, Rutherford. So you arrived late to one of her cullings, did you? Since becoming Vicereine, Annabella has been a constant thorn in Rosaria's side, but these atrocities are a new low. Something has changed. Quite what, I don't know, but the woman we knew is gone, and a monster sits in her place.
A monster?
For better or worse, I've been charged with governing this town, and thus must maintain the illusion of obedience. That's all I can do to aid Wade and his merry band of revolutionaries.
So he's told us. You have risked much for Rosaria. Our nation will be forever in your debt.
It has been 20 years, Clive. The nation your father and your forefathers fought to defend is no more. Perhaps it would be otherwise had I the courage of my brother. All right, if it's a ship you require, a ship you shall have. I've a galley in port, but recently relieved of her cargo. She can be outfitted for the voyage in a matter of weeks.
So you believe us, then? About everything?
Believe you? Ha! Only a fool would believe even half of the things you claim. But until tonight, only a fool would have believed my nephew still lived. And besides, I have it on good authority that Clive is telling the truth.
Whose authority?
By your own, of course. You've always been a terrible liar.
Is that true?
It's not untrue.
Let's say no more about it, eh? It wouldn't do to linger on my nephew's greatest failing. The one thing I cannot believe, though, is all this about you being Sid. You were always such a good boy, but now you're quite the outlaw. Which, if I'm not mistaken, would make me an outlaw's uncle. Right then, who shall we pillage first? Rutherford, fetch me my cutlass. This will be fun.
Over there. Go on.
She's a fine ship, isn't she?
Once outfitted, she'll bear us across the boiling sea to Drustinus in the space of 3 days.
Something on your mind?
Monsters. When I served the Iron Kingdom, I did so because I saw no other choice. Because once they learned that the lash would not move me, they turned it on those who could. And so I became their puppet. I let them pull my strings, telling myself it was not my hand that swung the sword, but another's. I removed myself from the truth so I wouldn't feel the pain it caused. And before I knew it, I no longer felt anything. Anything at all. I had become a monster.
Jill.
I don't want to be a monster, Clive. Do you understand? I want to choose a different path, a better path. To live on my own terms. But before I can do that, I need to come to terms with my past.
And when you do, I'll be standing there with you, just as you stood with me.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Clive. I must atone for my sins. Only then, when it's done, will the monster cease to be.
Mm-hmm.
Just promise me that you won't die with it. Now, let's get some sleep. The journey back to Benamir is long, and there is much to tell the others.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Here be monsters.
Only the Founder knows what awaits us in the Iron Kingdom. But Vivian could probably make an educated guess.
Okay.
Against the gloom of bygone days, motes of flame take flight.
Okay.
From
Oh,
glowing embers, beacons blaze to see us through the night.
proszę grać Pisiu. What? Oh my god.
Did you come to borrow a book, Sid? Because you can't have this.
How good it is to see you, Clive.
You too, my friend.
I don't believe you've read this particular chapter before. You wish to study the tomes?
Byron Rossfield, younger brother of the late Archduke Elwin and Warden of Port Isolde. After the duchy was incorporated into the Empire and Byron, stripped of his titles, he shut himself away in his manor had gladly volunteered every gale of the enormous taxes and tariffs with which he was nearly burdened, all to avoid drawing the Empire's ire and to keep their attention for his support for the Guardians of the Flame. Yes, the Guardians of the Galaxy. The Guardians of the Flame, a clandestine group of ducal loyalists who lead the rebellion against the imperial occupation of Rosaria and Empress Annabella. Many of their number are drawn from those who survived the imperial attack on Phoenix Gate in the year 860, who know full well the Empire's involvement in the Duchy's fall. They make their home in the abandoned Lazarus district outside Port Isolde, from where they conduct their raids to free bearers from the Imperial yoke. Sir Wade, a loyal shield of Rosaria, though he was thought to have died during the attack on Phoenix Gate, he somehow survived not only the disaster but the Imperial conquest that followed. He and other like mixed shields took up residence in the abandoned Lazarus and formed the Guardians of the Flame, brothers in arms who fight for the restoration of the Duchy. E temos aqui mais... Rutherford, manservant of Lord Byron Rossfield. His daily duties touch all aspects of running his master's manor, whether that be the welcoming of guests, the preparation of meals, or the polishing of the intrepid nobleman's trophy collection. Lie of the land, o que temos aqui de novo? Haldill Docks, a once thriving village of shipwrights located at the mouth of the Talons, Rosaria's largest bay. Its people were slaughtered at the hands of the Viceregency's Black Shields after it was discovered that the Guardians of the Flame were sheltering bearers there. Bewitt Bridge, a bridge built in and on the golden days of the Duchy that spans part of the bay known as the Talons and connects eastern Rosaria with the capital of Razaliv. It was originally meant to be part of the Trans-Rosarian aqueduct that would carry water to northern areas affected by the Blight and with it employment for local craftsmen and tradespeople. But this plan was abandoned when Archduke Elwin died. The Black Shields, an order of knights instituted by Empress Annabella in one of her first Xvi reign of the imperial province of Rosaria. While they most often march in small groups, their main host has been known to rally together to conduct large-scale raids. They are tasked with purging the impurities from the province to which end they conduct callings of both bearers and those judged to be ducal loyalists. Mysteries of the Realm, que temos aqui? The Saint and the Sectary, a beloved Philistine fable wherein the good knight Sir Ganel of Camelot, servant of Saint Sibyl the Unshod, does battle against the evil warlock Madhu. The story was a favorite of the young Clive Rossfield, and he would often act out scenes with his uncle, the young knight, naturally taking the role of Sir Crandall and his robustious uncle Byron, making a convincing Madhu.
The door to the shelves shall ever be open.
The door of the shelves shall ever be open. Oh yes, oh yes. Until we finish, oh my god. Pronto, o que é este ponto de optionist lock? Será que isto é algo que só se desbloqueia para aí tipo no fim do jogo? Deixa de que tipo deve ser isso. Se calhar o New Game Plus começas tipo a partir daí. Então não tem também é possível.
Maeve over there's the best thing to happen to Hideaway since well, ever. she's got a smile like sunshine, and she can pull an ale like no other.
Não, não quero falar contigo. Não, já não vou pagar. Eu tenho uma carta, né? Já tenho uma carta.
Deadlands wouldn't be half smart with all the bloody dust.
Duas cartas até. A flame none brighter, my lord Marquess. I ask once again for you to forgive my men for your welcome back at Lazarus, but certainly you can understand that you were the last person any of us were expecting to see at our gates. In the short time since our reunion, you have shown yourself to be the self-same man I followed into Stillwind those many years ago, a true bearer of your father's legacy. If only Sir Tyler, the Lord Commander, and all the others who were lost that night were still with us to see how bright your flame now burns. To you and your coisily shed cause, I hereby pledge the source of the Guardians, and I am proud to stand alongside you once again. Wait. All quiet in the Dominion. The Elmkers and the Imperials are at a standoff. They snarl each other, fangs bared like slum curs, but neither wants to make the first move. It's almost as if they both realized what a seeking pile of chocobo shit they're stepped in. If I were a man to lay wager, I'd put my cop around this conflict not playing out anytime soon. I shall keep you apprised, Gav. Ok. Aqui está outra cena. Deixa a porta aberta, jogo. Por que a porta se fecha? Downloading, ok, sei, mas foda-se. Espera, isso é a minha live. Tem ali outro site com essa última vez que foi uma site.
A sea voyage this time, is it? I can lend you an oilskin if you're looking to keep the salt off your back.
Oh,
A part of me thought Drake's head might be the last crystal we ever cracked, but I'm glad I was wrong.
You were very wrong, my friend. Não tens coisas novas? Não tem. Então bora fazer as secundárias. Vai começar com esta que quando tem assim uma marca diferente é mais.
Oh, am I glad to see you?
Is something wrong?
It's Blackthorn. He ain't himself. And if I'm honest, he ain't been for a while. But normally it only takes a couple of drinks to perk him back up, but not this time. Something's getting him down. And whatever it is, he ain't telling. It's like he's lost his spark, you know? He's barely got enough fire in his belly to get the ump about stuff. But I'm thinking he might if we both bent his ear, because he respects you, innit? So, what do you say?
Fine. If you think it will help.
I knew you'd understand.
But if he doesn't want to talk, we let him be. He'll open up when he's ready.
All right. Now, he'll only smell a rat if we both turn up at once. So, I'll go first, and you can meet us at the forge. Wait a bit, then head over when you're ready.
Blacksmith's Blues. August wants Clive to find out what's been troubling Blackthorn. While Aldous, a surly blacksmith, is usually a big talker, August thinks he might open up to Clive. Opa.
That monster's taken quite a liking to Lady Cameron.
Long time no see, Clive. What are you doing? You meant to talk to him, not me.
Okay, calma.
First August, and now you. What are you pair up to? What's it got to do with me?
August was worried that something had been weighing on your mind. I thought you might want to talk about it.
Did you now? I told you not to stick your nose in my business. What'd you go and do?
Clive just wants to help, innit? What's so bad about that? Talk to him. You never know, you might feel better for getting it all out in the open. Please, mate. I'm worried about you.
Phil shut you up. It's nothing really. Stupid. Not the sort of thing you bother people about.
Why don't you tell us all the same?
Karen and I have an arrangement. I keep an eye on Goots, and she shows me what the competition's up to. Interesting arms and armor, things like that. Anyway, the other day, she shows me a cuirass she's come by. Masterpiece of level work. Light, supple, and tougher than it had any right to be. Made my stuff look like every clumsy shit. I should have brought the bastard thing there and then just to study it, but I was too proud. Now, every time I reach for my hammer, I'm reminded that I'm not the craftsman I thought I was. There. You happy? You got what you came for? Now piss off.
All right. We're going. I always thought of old Blackthorn as a bit of a force of nature. Like a storm cloud full of ale. Didn't think anything could rattle him. Least of all a stupid piece of leather.
Blackthorn's always taken pride in his craft. Questioning it means questioning himself. Something tells me this is only going to get worse. If he has doubts, it will affect his work, which will only add to his problems. We need to nip this in the bud.
I couldn't agree more.
He said he should have bought that cuirass. Perhaps we should track it down for him. Assuming you're happy to help, that is.
Too bloody right I am.
Glad to hear it. First things first, then. We need to speak to Karen.
So, we find a cuirass, give it to Blackthorn, then he works out how to make it and goes back to being his surly old self, right? Simple.
Karen, do you have a moment? Blackthorn mentioned that you'd recently come by a leather cuirass. An exquisite example of the craft, from what he told us.
And he ain't been himself since he saw it. So we thought we'd buy it for him.
Sorry, sold it already. Didn't think Blackthorn cared for it the way he turned his nose up. But it was nicely put together, that's for certain. Even if the bloke who made it is a bit of an odd one. Happened across him on my travels. Makes all his stuff to order, but the fella who commissioned it refused to pay. He didn't like the colour of summit. So I took it off his hands for a fair price.
You don't know where we might find him, do you?
Like I said, he's a bit of an odd one. Doesn't even have a workshop. He don't trust hunters neither, which means he spends as much time out tracking beasties as he does working their hides.
I see.
He did tell me something, though. Apparently, his next commission's for a set of griffin hide greaves.
Here, there's a griffin on the hunt board. The curse breakers were placing bets
There
on the
is?
wagon. Now, where the bleeding hell was it sighted? Somewhere in Sambrec, maybe? Care Northern, that was it.
Thank you, Karen. We'd be lost without you.
At least you admit it.
So, it sounds like going after that griffin might be the best chance we have of finding our roaming leatherworker.
I'll leave the hunting to you if you don't mind. While you get on with that, I'll ask around the markets. See if I can't sniff out who he is and where he's hiding.
Good idea. Hopefully one of us will be able to track him down.
If that leatherworker's even half the craftsman Blackthorn says, someone's bound to have heard of him. I'll do a bit of poking around, see if I can't find something out. Good luck in Sambrec, and watch out for that griffin.
Jumeruka shikolla perisemiä mania. Took the king of machine.
A part of me thought Drake's head might be the last crystal we ever cracked.
Did I hear you say you were hoping to hunt down a griffin, Kupo? Then I do have the billet for you, Kupo. An especially horrible one that the locals call Dosmar. Away, away. Okay. While passing along the trail from Lost Wing to Cairn Norvent, one of our order was met with a sudden blast of wind so strong that it bent back the trunks of the old oaks, and heard a cry so terrible that he ran for his life. Questioning the locals revealed that this area was the nesting place of the elder griffin known as Dasmar, a beast much hated for its appetite both for chocobos and for children. Ok, então agora tem de ir caçar. Away, away, oh Lord, no. Away. Wait, what? Let's look at it that way. Away, away, oh, aqui.
Good day to you. See.
Crystals we get from the tail are all but worthless.
Okay, por aqui. Nossa, vai ser uma longa caminhada.
All right. Time to fight. Griffins don't exactly make for easy prey. Let's hope our craftsman hasn't bitten off more than he can chew.
It's a B rank with Millie King and
Other work will have to wait. Vogel, look sharp. Nice try.
holy shit.